Hey guys, it's an exciting day here. I'm actually just getting everything packed up in the IS300 to head over to the Dyno for the morning. I'm trying to get over there a little early today because according to the weather it's going to be another hot day, so I'm trying to get some runs in, trying to get things a little dialed in this morning while it's nice and cool. That way I hopefully won't have to run the car hard when it gets to be 105 degrees this afternoon or whatever. So anyway, getting things packed up, have a few things to do before I can make some good power pulls, so hopefully everything goes pretty smooth and we can get it running good pretty quick. So we'll see how it goes. Stay tuned.
Here as quickly as possible so I don't anger the neighbors. I don't know why they get so mad. The car's really quiet. I think I got everything. I got my laptop. I brought just a few extra gallons of C85, which is what I run in the car. Brought a sack lunch because I'm 12 years old. So I have quite a bit I got to get done this morning. The first thing I want to do is actually recheck the base ignition timing and make sure it's still synced up with what the AEM is commanding. Because I messed with, like I said, I messed with the coil dwell just on my test drive in the last video, and I don't know how that affects the physical ignition timing, or if it does. So I just want to recheck it and make sure that it's still synced up and I'm not going to have any problems.
Alright, I just checked the base ignition timing and it's spot on. It's good to go. So I'm going to leave just this top timing belt cover off, probably just for the duration of the dyno session, just in case I need to get back to the coils or the spark plugs for whatever reason. No sense putting it back on and taking it back off, so just going to leave that off. And yeah, now I'm just going to kind of just do the boring stuff. Just put a small amount of load on the dyno to kind of simulate the vehicle weight as if it was driving kind of on a flat road, and just kind of play with the fuel table a little bit until we get air fuels a little more dialed in, and then we can start pouring on some boost. All right, so I just got the kind of the part throttle low boost portions of the fuel map sorted out. So everything is looking pretty good so far. I think at this point I'm going to start doing probably some full throttle pulls, and yeah, like I said, it should only make about maybe 10 pounds just on the wastegate spring alone. So I'm going to do a couple full power or full throttle pulls just to make sure that air fuels are still good under full throttle at around 10 pounds. And then we can start playing with the wastegate duty and bring it on a little more boost. So let's try this out. All right, so that was fourth gear wastegate spring, which verified, looked at the logs, it's right around 10 pounds. It's between 9.5 and 10.5 pounds, basically throughout the entire RPM range. So right at 10 pounds, feels really good. I did, so that first full throttle pull felt like it was breaking up at like 6,500. And so in the AEM, I pulled the coil dwell back above 65 or above 6,000 RPM a little bit, and did the second pull up to 7 grand, and it seemed to be nice and smooth. So yeah, 420 wheel on 10 pounds is pretty. I'm pretty happy with that. Yep, you can see smooth all the way up to 7 grand. So I don't think I'm having any misfire issues or anything like that anymore, but that's not to say I won't when I start bringing on more boost, because that's when the ignition system really starts to get kind of taxed, is when you start cramming that much more fuel and air into the cylinders. So anyway, gonna start just playing with wastegate duty cycle just a little bit and see how much wastegate duty it takes just to make a few pounds more of boost, and slowly kind of step it up from there. So let's keep going. right, so we're creeping up on boost a bit. I figured out like 30% duty cycle is about 15 pounds of boost. I went up to 35% duty cycle, and on that last run, I don't know if you'll be able to tell in the video, but it definitely cut out, like the spark's blowing out or there's something going on. So I'm gonna stop right there just for a second and kind of evaluate my next plan of attack. What I'll probably end up doing is, I have a brand new set of spark plugs. I always have a extra set with the car. I'll probably take those and gap them down while the car cools down a little bit, and then swap them in just to be safe. I'm not going to mess around with misfiring and crap like that. So you can actually see here on the dyno graph, right when it came up on boost, it cut out pretty hard, and I immediately recognized kind of what was happening and tried to let off as quickly as possible. So, but the run before that was a very solid run. Let's see if I can pull it up here. So yeah, so this run, this was, again, we're doing 4th gear. This was right at 15 pounds of boost is all, and we're at 500 wheel, 420 torque. So really happy so far with how it's reacting. So yeah, I'm gonna gap down this new set of plugs, and then we'll pull the old ones out, swap them in, and hopefully that will cure the misfiring and spark blowing out issue, because that's scary. I'm not a professional tuner, and I don't claim to be, so anytime something like that happens, I take it pretty seriously. So hopefully we can squeeze the gap down a little bit, and that'll solve the issue. All right, just finished swapping the plugs out. Everything went pretty smooth. So now I'm going to just fire it up, and what I'll probably do is just pull the boost way back just to wastegate spring, do a couple runs and make sure that everything still looks good, and then I'll once again start cranking up the boost, and hopefully we got rid of that spark blowout issue. So we'll see how it goes. So far so good. Seems like closing down the spark plug gap did help a lot as far as spark blowout goes. So I just went up to 40% duty cycle on the boost controller, and that made just under 20 pounds of boost. It was like 19.8 something peak boost. So that made, let's see here, in 4th gear, you can see 562 horsepower, 480 foot-pounds of torque. So running pretty good. What's kind of crazy is horsepower kind of levels off here at the top. I'm not sure why it's leveling off so hard, but I think at this point, the car's making enough power that I'm going to start doing 5th gear pulls. The 4th gear pulls are just getting really short, and it's hard to get good data in such a short run. So gonna step it up to 5th gear pulls and start laying into it, and hopefully everything works out. So I would like to make more power than I made last year. I think last year with the old setup, it was right at like 645 or 650, somewhere around there. So hopefully we can crack that, but I don't want to break anything, and if anything feels wonky, then I'll just call it a day. But so far so good, so let's keep going. All right, that was fifth gear at 45% duty cycle, and I felt it break up just a little bit, so I got out of it early. You can see, looks like it made 639 and just under 560 as far as torque. Looking at the graph here, you can see this dip right here. It's right where it basically cut out. Felt like ignition again, so I let out of it early. I only went up to like 6,600 RPM. So at that 40% duty, or sorry, 45% duty cycle, that was like 20. I think it peaked at 24 pounds of boost and tapered down to like 22. So the old IS300 ignition, the stock IS300 ignition system that I had in here before, had no problems at that boost level or RPM level. So I don't know. So far, I'm not really impressed with the LQ9 coils. Yeah, I'm not sure what else I can do at this point. Maybe just try a couple more pulls and then call it a day and keep it under 24 pounds of boost for now. It's been a pretty good day on the dyno. It wouldn't be a dyno day without some setbacks and some issues, right? That's just how it goes most of the time. But all things considered, I'm pretty happy with the power the car made, considering considering the amount of boost I was pushing through it. Do I wish it would have made more power? Well, yeah, it sucks. It sucks leaving the dyno when you know there's more left on the table. Hopefully I can evaluate the ignition system and see, you know, what might be going on there. It really stinks purchasing an upgrade and then having it be worse than what you're upgrading from. So from where I stand right now, the LQ9 ignition system that I have in the car is worse
than the factory IS300 one. So I don't know what else to say about that. But now I can finally kind of enjoy the car and drive it now that it's kind of tuned.